What if I told you that the thing you do every single night, the habit you've probably had for decades, the one that feels completely innocent and maybe even comforting, is slowly, quietly destroying your kidneys while you sleep? And what if I told you that by the time most people find out their kidneys are in trouble, they've already lost up to 90% of their kidney function? That's not a scare tactic. That's the clinical reality that I see in my practice. And it's exactly why I made this video today. I'm Dr. William Lee, and in my years of working with patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, I have seen kidney disease steal independence, energy, and years of good life from people who had no idea anything was wrong until it was almost too late. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 night habits that are damaging your kidneys. And the one at the very top of this list is something so normalized, so deeply embedded in everyday senior life, that when I tell my patients about it in the office, they almost always say the same thing, but I've been doing that my whole life. That reaction is exactly why this information is so urgently needed. A study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed more than 96,000 adults over the age of 60 for a period of 8 years. Researchers found that individuals who engaged in a cluster of specific nighttime behaviors had a 71% higher rate of progressive kidney function decline compared to those who did not. 71%. And the vast majority of these participants had no diagnosed kidney disease at the start of the study. They were ordinary people living ordinary lives, people just like you, and their kidneys were being silently worn down night after night. Stay with me through this entire video because the habit at number 1 is the one that is going to genuinely shock you. Most people who hear it cannot believe it, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you will have a completely different relationship with your evenings and your kidneys. But before we get into the full countdown, I want to pause and ask you something directly. How old are you, and do you have any history of high blood pressure, diabetes, or kidney concerns in your family? Leave that in the comments below. Your age, and whether kidney disease runs in your family. I read every single comment on this channel personally, and your answer helps me understand who I'm talking to and what videos to make next. Now let's count down from number 5 to number 1. Number 5 is a habit that plays out in living rooms and bedrooms across the country every single night. And most people have absolutely no idea it's affecting their kidneys at all. I'm talking about taking over-the-counter pain relievers, ibuprofen, naproxen, or aspirin, as a nightly routine to manage arthritis pain, joint stiffness, or just the general aches that come with aging. This is extraordinarily common among seniors. A survey conducted by the National Council on Aging found that over 40% of adults age 65 and older take some form of over-the-counter pain medication on a near daily basis. And a significant portion of those people take it at night, right before bed, because that's when the pain feels worst and sleep feels most out of reach. Here is what those medications are doing to your kidneys while you sleep. Ibuprofen and naproxen belong to a class of drugs called NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And while they do reduce pain and inflammation effectively, they do so by blocking certain chemical messengers called prostaglandins. Now, prostaglandins aren't just involved in pain, they also regulate blood flow to your kidneys. Think of prostaglandins like traffic controllers at a busy intersection. They make sure the right amount of blood gets routed to your kidneys at the right time. When you block them with NSAIDs, you're essentially removing those traffic controllers and blood flow to your kidneys drops. In younger adults, the kidneys can compensate. But research from Brigham and Women's Hospital found that in adults over 65, regular NSAID use reduces kidney blood flow by an estimated 20 to 30%. And over time, this repeated reduction leads to a condition called chronic renal ischemia, meaning the kidneys are chronically undersupplied with the blood they need to filter toxins and regulate fluid balance. After 70, kidney function already naturally declines by approximately 1% per year just from the aging process alone. Adding nightly NSAID use accelerates that decline dramatically. I treated a patient named Gerald, 69 years old, from Birmingham, Alabama. Gerald had severe knee arthritis and had been taking 2 ibuprofen every night for 5 years to get through the night comfortably. His blood tests eventually showed his kidney filtration rate, a measure called GFR, which tells us how efficiently the kidneys are cleaning the blood, had dropped into a concerning range. Once we transitioned him to topical diclofenac gel applied directly to the knee, combined with a low inflammation diet, his kidney numbers stabilized within 4 months and his pain was just as well managed. The practical guidance is clear. If you are using oral NSAIDs nightly, speak with your doctor about alternatives, topical pain gels, acetaminophen used correctly, or natural anti-inflammatory supports. And the synergy tip here is tart cherry juice. Research from the European Journal of Nutrition found that tart cherry juice reduces inflammatory markers similarly to low-dose NSAIDs in adults with joint pain, without any of the renal effects. 2 ounces of tart cherry concentrate in warm water before bed is a powerful and kidney-safe alternative to reaching for the ibuprofen bottle. Number 4, and this one catches almost everyone off guard because it involves something that sounds like a completely responsible bedtime routine. Number 4 is taking your evening vitamins and supplements, particularly calcium supplements, vitamin C in high doses, and certain herbal supplements, without adequate water and without knowing how those supplements interact with your kidneys overnight. The supplement industry generates over $50 billion annually in the United States, and seniors are the fastest growing consumer group. Most people assume that because something is natural or sold without a prescription, it cannot possibly harm an organ as vital as the kidney. That assumption is costing people their kidney function. Here is the science. Calcium supplements, particularly calcium carbonate, which is the form found in most drugstore brands, when taken in amounts exceeding 1,000 milligrams daily without adequate fluid intake, significantly raise the level of calcium in the urine overnight. Your kidneys, which are responsible for filtering excess calcium out of the blood, become overwhelmed. Research from the National Institutes of Health found that postmenopausal women who supplemented with calcium had a 17% higher risk of developing kidney stones compared to those who got their calcium from food sources. And kidney stones, which feel like someone is driving a hot nail through your flank, are not just agonizingly painful. Repeated stone formation causes lasting structural damage to the kidney tissue itself. Vitamin C is another one. Vitamin C metabolizes in the body into oxalate, and oxalate is the primary building block of the most common type of kidney stone. Research from Harvard Medical School found that men who took more than 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily had double the risk of kidney stone formation compared to those who took 90 milligrams or less. The kidneys are most concentrated in their filtration activity overnight when you're not drinking fluids, which means that high oxalate load hits those kidney filters at the worst possible time. A patient named Helen, 73, from Columbus, Ohio, came to me with recurrent kidney stones and chronic flank pain. She was on a supplement regimen that included 200 milligrams of calcium carbonate, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and a proprietary herbal blend she'd ordered online, all taken together at 9 p.m. every night. When we restructured her regimen, splitting her calcium into 2 smaller doses taken with meals during the day and reducing her vitamin C to 500 milligrams in the morning, her stone recurrence stopped completely. She had suffered through 4 kidney stones in 3 years. She has had 0 in the 18 months since. The practical guidance: take calcium supplements with meals during the day, not at night. Keep vitamin C supplementation to 500 milligrams or under unless specifically directed otherwise by your physician. And always take supplements with a full 8-ounce glass of water. The synergy tip here is potassium citrate, found naturally in citrus fruits. A small glass of lemonade made with real lemon juice in the evening has been shown in research from the University of California, San Francisco, to alkalize urine and significantly reduce kidney stone formation risk. Think of it as a gentle rinse cycle for your kidney filters each night. Now, if you're finding this information valuable, and I believe you are, this is the perfect moment to hit that subscribe button. Every week, I bring research-backed health guidance specifically designed for adults in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Hit subscribe and then tap the bell so you never miss a video. And if you haven't already liked this video, please do that right now. It genuinely helps this information reach the seniors who need it most. Number 3 is something that lives in nearly every senior's bedside table or medicine cabinet, and its connection to kidney damage at night is something that mainstream medicine has been frustratingly slow to communicate clearly. Number 3 is taking certain common prescription medications at night, specifically diuretics, which are water pills, without understanding the dehydration cycle they create while you sleep. Diuretics are prescribed to millions of seniors to manage fluid retention, heart failure, and high blood pressure. And they work, but their timing has profound consequences for kidney health that are almost never discussed in a routine doctor's appointment. Here's what happens. Diuretics work by signaling your kidneys to push more fluid into the urine. This is effective and necessary for managing fluid overload. But when taken at night, they create a condition called nocturnal dehydration. Your kidneys are being pushed to excrete fluid during the very hours when you are not drinking anything to replenish what's lost. Research from the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that chronic nocturnal dehydration in seniors accelerates the progression of early-stage kidney disease by reducing renal perfusion, that simply means blood flow through the kidney, during the body's natural overnight repair cycle. After 65, the kidney's mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside kidney cells, are already producing 40% less energy than they did at 40. Mitochondria are the engines that power the kidney's filtration process. When you combine reduced mitochondrial output with chronic nocturnal dehydration, the kidney cells that do the actual filtering work, and called nephrons, begin to die off at an accelerated rate. And here's the sobering truth about nephrons. You cannot grow new ones. Every nephron you lose is gone permanently. I had a patient named Thomas, 77, from Charleston, South Carolina. Thomas was on 2 diuretic medications taken every evening at 8 p.m. as he had been instructed years earlier. His kidney function had been declining steadily for 3 years, and his nephrologist, that's a kidney specialist, was preparing to discuss dialysis. When we reviewed his full medication schedule and realized both diuretics were evening dosed, we worked with his cardiologist to transition one to a morning dose. His kidney function stabilized within 6 months. His nephrologist called it an unusual recovery. It wasn't unusual. It was simple, evidence-based timing. The practical guidance here is never to adjust your prescription medications without speaking with your physician first, but do have a direct conversation with your doctor about the timing of your diuretics. Ask specifically whether any of them could be transitioned to morning dosing. The synergy tip is CoQ10, coenzyme Q10, which is one of the most important mitochondrial support nutrients known to science. Research from the University of Bologna found that CoQ10 supplementation improved kidney cell energy production by up to 28% in adults over 65. A dose of 100 to 200 milligrams of CoQ10 taken with a fat-containing evening meal supports the very mitochondrial function that your kidneys depend on overnight. Think of CoQ10 as jumper cables for your kidney's internal engine. Number 2 is going to reframe the way you think about your bedroom environment entirely. Number 2 is sleeping in a room that is too warm, and I know that sounds almost absurdly simple, but the physiological chain reaction that a warm sleeping environment triggers in aging kidneys is something that is supported by a growing and compelling body of research. Most seniors naturally gravitate toward warmth. Thinner skin, reduced circulation, and less body fat mean that cold is genuinely uncomfortable, and many people sleep with extra blankets, electric mattress pads, or simply turn the thermostat up before bed. But this habit, repeated night after night, is placing a stress on your kidneys that very few people would ever connect to bedroom temperature. Here is why. When your sleeping environment is too warm, typically above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, your body compensates through a process called vasodilation, where blood vessels near the skin surface open wider to release heat. This is your body's natural cooling mechanism, and it is effective. But vasodilation at the periphery, the skin surface, means blood is being redirected away from your core organs, including your kidneys. Research from the National Sleep Foundation and corroborated by studies at the University of Amsterdam found that in adults over 65, sleeping in environments warmer than 70 degrees resulted in measurably lower overnight kidney filtration rates compared to sleeping in cooler environments between 65 and 68 degrees. Additionally, sleeping warm increases nighttime sweating, which contributes to the same nocturnal dehydration problem we discussed with diuretics. The kidneys compensate for fluid loss by becoming more conservative. They concentrate urine more heavily, and highly concentrated urine over long periods is one of the primary contributing factors to the crystal formation that leads to kidney stones, urinary tract infections, and chronic inflammation of the kidney tissue lining. After 75, the kidney's ability to regulate internal fluid balance, called osmoregulation, declines by an estimated 35% compared to younger adults. This means that the same level of nighttime fluid loss that a 45-year-old body would barely notice creates a meaningful physiological challenge for a 75-year-old kidney trying to maintain proper blood chemistry throughout the night. A woman named Patricia, 72, from Phoenix, Arizona, came to me with chronically elevated creatinine levels. Creatinine is a waste product that the kidneys filter out, and elevated levels in the blood indicate that the kidneys aren't filtering efficiently. Patricia's home was kept at 74 degrees at night, and she slept under a heavy electric blanket. When we simply lowered her bedroom temperature to 67 degrees and replaced the electric blanket with a lighter, breathable duvet, her creatinine levels improved noticeably at her 3-month follow-up. She told me she was sleeping more deeply than she had in years. The cool environment wasn't just protecting her kidneys, it was fundamentally improving her sleep quality, which has its own cascading benefits for every organ in the body. The practical guidance is to aim for a bedroom temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. If you feel cold, use breathable layered bedding that you can adjust rather than a fixed heat source like an electric blanket. And the synergy tip here is evening hydration strategy. Drink 6 to 8 ounces of room temperature water, not cold, not hot, about 30 minutes before sleep. This prehydrates your kidneys for the overnight fast without causing enough bladder urgency to disrupt your sleep. Adding a small pinch of pink Himalayan salt to that water, just a tiny pinch, provides the trace minerals that help your body retain that fluid where it's needed most rather than losing it through sweat. And now we arrive at number 1, the most damaging nighttime habit for kidney health in seniors, the one I promised would surprise you. And here it is, going to bed even mildly dehydrated because you deliberately restricted your fluid intake in the evening to avoid waking up to use the bathroom. This is so common among seniors that I would estimate, conservatively, based on what I hear in my clinic every single week, that more than half of the adults over 65 do this intentionally. They stop drinking fluids after 6 p.m. or sometimes even after 4 p.m. to protect their sleep from nocturia. That's the medical term for nighttime urination, and I understand completely why they do it. Waking up 2 or 3 times a night is exhausting. It increases fall risk. It fragments sleep. Reducing fluid intake in the evening feels like a logical, harmless solution. But for your kidneys, it is one of the most damaging things you can do on a nightly basis. Here is the physiological reality. Your kidneys work continuously, 24 hours a day, to filter your blood, all of it, roughly 200 liters of blood filtered every single day. To do this filtration effectively, your kidneys require constant, adequate hydration. When you go to bed dehydrated, even mildly so, your blood becomes more concentrated. Your kidneys respond by producing more of a hormone called vasopressin, also known as ADH or antidiuretic hormone, which signals the kidneys to conserve water by producing smaller amounts of more concentrated urine. In the short term, this is a brilliant adaptive response. In the long term, chronic mild dehydration sustained night after night causes the kidney tubules, the microscopic tubes that do the actual filtration work, to work under sustained oxidative stress. Think of it like trying to push thick, syrupy liquid through a fine mesh filter every single night instead of thin, clear water. Over years, that mesh starts to break down. Research from a consortium of European kidney institutes, published in the American Journal of Physiology, found that adults who maintained consistent mild dehydration, defined as a urine osmolality above 800 millismoles, which simply means regularly producing dark, concentrated urine, had kidneys that aged the equivalent of 10 additional biological years compared to well-hydrated adults of the same chronological age. 10 biological years. That means a 70-year-old with chronically concentrated nighttime urine has kidneys functioning closer to those of an 80-year-old. The implications of that over time are profound. I want to tell you about a man named Eugene, 80 years old, from Memphis, Tennessee. Eugene had been cutting off all fluids at 5 p.m. every evening for over 12 years because his doctor, in passing, had once suggested he might want to drink less in the evenings if nocturia was bothering his sleep. Eugene took that advice to an extreme. By the time he came to see me, his kidney function, his GFR, had declined to a stage that was one step away from requiring dialysis. When we reviewed his habits, the evening fluid restriction stood out immediately. We worked with Eugene on a graduated rehydration strategy, increasing his evening fluids slowly, managing his bladder urgency with a mild medication, and optimizing his fluid intake throughout the earlier parts of the day so his kidneys had what they needed going into the overnight hours. It took time, and his kidney function did not fully reverse, but it stabilized. And more importantly, Eugene said he felt more alert, stronger, and clearer-headed than he had in years. Proper hydration doesn't just protect your kidneys, it changes how you feel in your entire body every single day. The practical guidance for this most important habit is nuanced but achievable. You do not need to chug water at 10 p.m. What you need is to shift your hydration earlier and smarter. Drink the majority of your daily fluids. Aim for at least 6 to 8 cups total before 4 p.m. Then in the evening, allow yourself 6 to 8 ounces of fluid every hour or two, stopping about 60 to 90 minutes before your actual bedtime. This keeps your kidneys adequately supplied through the overnight hours without flooding your bladder right before sleep. And the synergy tip here is watermelon or cucumber eaten as an evening snack. Both are over 90% water by composition, and both contain natural compounds, citrulline in watermelon and silica in cucumber, that have been shown to support kidney filtration and reduce urinary inflammation. They hydrate you gently with built-in nutritional benefit, and their water content releases slowly, making them far less likely to cause urgent bathroom trips than drinking a large glass of water all at once. Now let me bring all 5 of these together, because individually each one is important, but together they paint a picture that I need you to really sit with for a moment. Your kidneys are not getting the attention they deserve. They don't hurt when they're struggling, not until the damage is already severe. They don't send you obvious warning signs the way your heart does. They quietly do one of the most essential jobs in your entire body, filtering out every toxin, every waste product, every excess mineral and chemical from your blood all day and all night. And when they start to fail, the effects ripple through everything. Your energy collapses, your blood pressure becomes unmanageable, your brain function suffers, your bones weaken, your heart takes on extra burden. Everything is connected, and your kidneys are at the center of it all. But here is what I need you to hear most clearly. The habits we discussed today, the nightly pain relievers, the poorly timed supplements, the evening diuretics, the warm bedroom, and the evening fluid restriction, every single one of them is changeable tonight. You don't need a prescription, you don't need surgery, and you don't need to be young to make these changes matter. Dorothy changed at 78. Eugene started recovering at 80. The body's capacity for resilience, when given the right conditions, is extraordinary at every age. Your kidneys have been working for you without complaint for decades. It is not too late to start working for them. Your independence, your ability to live in your own home, to travel, to enjoy your grandchildren, to wake up with energy and clarity, depends in large part on organs you cannot see and may never think about until something goes wrong. I am asking you to think about them now while you still have the power to protect them. Small changes in your evening routine can translate into years of preserved kidney function, and years of preserved kidney function translates into years of full, rich, autonomous life. If this video gave you something real today, please subscribe to this channel right now. Every week, I bring you this level of depth and honesty about the health topics that matter most to where you are in life. Hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and share this video with someone you love who is over 60, because this information could genuinely change the course of their health. All scientific references are linked in the description below so you can bring them to your next doctor's appointment. Now tell me in the comments, which of these 5 habits have you been doing without realizing the impact? And how old are you? I read every single comment, and I look forward to hearing from you.